man in history.
Mm-hmm.
With our papal elections, you have some of the first global news coverage.
Mm-hmm.
With his death, you had news media outlets that have rented flats in Rome for years.
That's true.
Well,
and here we are with this group of satellite trucks surrounding the university.
To tell you the truth, I think it was the death of Pope John Paul II which really ignited probably this media coverage that we have of Benedict, because they saw with the death of Pope John Paul II how much it really affected the world. How many people there were in Vatican Square and St. Peter's Basilica there as he's dying in his room, just praying for him. And I think the media saw that what the people are really interested in, and so they couldn't help but they couldn't pass up this opportunity of Pope Benedict being the third pope to come to the United States to address the United Nations.
That's
and
right.
The second pope to be greeted at the White House by a president. And I think they couldn't pass that opportunity up.
Yeah, I think so too. And really, again, and I always go back to this just because it really struck me. As someone once told me who was not Catholic, they said, we always care what the Pope thinks. We always care what the Church is thinking. Even though we may not agree with it, even though we may not always understand it, we care. Just because we know that there's some traction, some universality. And so I think there could be a lot of interest from that, about that.
Right, and so we spent most of the day doing what we did do at the USCCB, and then figuring out a way to leave there and head over to the Arlington area,
right,
to Murky Coffee.
Now, Daniel Kenninger, you might remember him. He's certainly one of our ex officio member of Catholic Underground. Spoke with him the week before we left, and he says, I still want to be part of the podcast. As well, there's bandwidth for you. But he used to love this place called Murky Coffee in Arlington, and he raved about it. Little did we know that it was probably actually the site of a rave at some point.
In fact, I made the comment as we left, is that I wouldn't rent from these individuals because I suspect they might be slumlords. It was the outside did not look bad, as Corey attested. They had just had it painted, but I was really worried going up those stairs to the second floor. The handrail kind of came off in my hand, and when you got to the top of the steps, you felt the wood underneath you just kind of giving way.
It was kind of like going inside of a Scooby-Doo house that had been rezoned for commercial use.
Yeah, I just wanted to walk up and say, you're really pocketing all those profits, aren't you?
Low overhead, mainly because the overhead really is very low, physically.
Yeah.
So the CU meetup was, Corey came.
Yes.
It was great, and we actually didn't get any coffee. We just waited.
Which
that was the sad thing about
I know, because I've heard the coffee's good.
Divine Providence anyway, because as soon as I got there, the first thing I did was run a network speed test, and we got like 28K per second on our upload, which is slower than dial-up, so we would have never been able to stream anything to anybody anywhere.
Right, so it would have been a wash anyway. So to Steve, who emailed us and who sent us a video or a voicemail, we apologize for not going with the Irish pub. We're sorry. We should have.
Next time.
Next time. Next time. Next time, whenever we actually have a broadcast, van to bring.
And so we hung out at Murky Coffee probably about 45 minutes or so, and then finally we just said, well, we're getting a little hungry.
Yep.
And so before we went eat, what is the one thing that the CU fanboys should do was go to the Apple Store.
Yes, we have to give a little postscript or prescript to that. Now, truthfully, we didn't know that the media center was going to be a place where we could do just about everything.
Right.
In fact, if we'd have brought this really good CU TV desk with us, we probably could have set up our center of broadcasting there. But of course, we wouldn't be able to bring you this wonderful thing because, well, we aren't living in Washington for the week. So so we didn't really bring all the equipment we could have used.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have a FireWire cable, even though we've got 6 sitting here, or 7. And so I needed a FireWire cable, so we went to the Apple Store. And Paul, you've been very helpful at the Apple Store, and I hope that you make Employee of the Month. Paul not only found me a FireWire cable, but he also found me a cheaper, thinner one that did the same exact job.
And with the charge for that FireWire cable, Paul must be making about a 300% commission.
I hope so. Paul, I hope you're getting your check. $30 for a cable. American.
Yeah.
That's not the euro.
That'd be worse.
That's right. It would be a lot worse. It would be a
And
lot
Father
worse.
Ryan's commenting, Joshua, cable guy. I will point out that I ordered these tons of USB cables, tons and tons of USB cables for something like $2.50 for a 6-foot cable.
Yeah.
But none of them made it into the
None of them
sleeve
made it
today.
into the bag.
None of them. Not a one.
So tomorrow we're hoping to be prepared. Tomorrow the Holy Father is going to be doing a little bit more, and so hopefully we will be able to get some stuff. Maybe not live out to you, but we hope to be able to give you something for CUTV. I have to say that that interestingly enough, we haven't been as prepared in terms of the way things are going. But I have to say I'm having a fun time, and even Nick. I think would agree that we're having a pretty good time, even though we haven't been able to go to the top of the Washington Monument yet, which he says he's afraid of heights, but I think he's lying. But we'll drag you up there, Nick. Don't worry. He's like, okay, we'll go.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think is really we are kind of caught up in the whim. You know, we lack a bit of the professionalism that your people from Fox News or CNN would have. But we're having fun. At least I'm having fun. And so
And we think that's what you enjoy, is to see us. And that's the one thing we said we wanted to do with this trip, is to bring you on and experience it with us, not report to you, to have
Right.
you experience what we're doing.
That's right. So all of the faux pas, all of the difficulties, all of the falling, set pieces and things like
Things
that.
you won't see on Fox News, they will never tell you about, like falling lights or anything like that. We will show it to you.
That's right. We'll get the camera out. Yeah. So we do hope that works for you, being able to experience it along with us. So we did. We went to the Mac store. That's right, Father Ryan. There are videos of exploding lights on YouTube, and they're really funny because anchors freak out when things explode. But of course, they have fire alarms that make things so much more dramatic. Of course, I guess we do too. Yeah, we do.
Let's see if we can set one off.
No, let's not and say we did. So we went to the Mac store. We went and had a wonderful little Italian meal, and we hope tomorrow to be able to meet up with some friends of ours in the broadcasting industry who might have some treats for you tomorrow. We don't know how that's going to work yet, but we do hope so. One of the other ways that you can listen to us on Catholic Underground is we're going to be doing some updates for Baton Rouge Catholic Radio. KKAY1590am.com, and you can listen to them streaming live on the internet all the time. But you can also actually, I think we've gone ahead and it might be public. I don't think it's public on the website, but we have all of our radio spots. We might release those in podcast form for you. And tomorrow, of course, you can join us for our podcast. Father Ryan, we're going to attempt to pipe him in. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's going to be fun. We've actually tried to do live podcasting events. Father Ryan, at what time, he wants to know. I believe we've got it scheduled for 9. 9 our time.
I think. I'll have to check. Schedule. Let's look at our schedule and see exactly, because we can get confused as well, as we know well tonight from the Murky Coffee. That is correct. 9 p.m. our time, 8 p.m. Central.
That's right. We're shooting for that. It may not be right on it. We're going to attempt to do it live, and hopefully there won't be any problems with that. We actually one of the things that's very interesting. One of our chatters is saying the Hornets are playing. Well, if the Hornets are playing, we're going to try and make that available in podcast form for you, so you don't have to watch it live, or you can, if you've got wireless in your apartment. You can open up your MacBook Pro or computer of choice, and just kind of let it watch us in a little window. I think that would be okay. Or you can mute the Hornet sound. I really don't personally need to hear people playing basketball to know that it's happening. Maybe people feel that way about our podcast. I don't need to hear what they're saying, just to see them doing it. Yes, yeah. Nick says don't use TomTom to get to the game. TomTom really has taken a couple of hits in my book today. For those of you who have a GPS system. I guess none of them are perfect, but Washington, D.C., because the streets are built like a city, strongly compact.
Like Jerusalem.
Like Jerusalem. It's very difficult to navigate. So, that's the... I need some water. I sound like the Godfather.
He's verklempt.
So we're going to have our podcast. If for some reason we don't get to bring it to you live, then you certainly will be able to get it where you always get your podcast, CatholicUnderground.com. And of course, you can also look for us on iTunes. If you're subscribed to us, you'll get it automatically. Automatically. That's what we're looking for. And then Thursday, of course, we've got the Mass with the Holy Father. We can celebrating. Joshua and Nick and Corey will be attending in various lay.
And we're waiting for him to ask us for a private audience.
That would be nice. Those folks from the Catholic Underground. I've heard of them.
Where are they, Donald?
That's where the media is going. So, yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. But we do look forward to that, and hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit of sightseeing. And maybe we'll take the camera along and show you what we see. We keep forgetting that we actually have press passes. That means we can stand anywhere in the city and do anything
Basically.
with the camera. We have forgotten that today. Otherwise, we would have brought you eating with us this evening, which I don't know if you've ever seen Corey Campo eat, but be glad that there would have been audio only. I'm joking. I'm joking. Corey is a very nattily attired and well-portioned eater. You don't put too much on your fork. I noticed that about a person, how much they put on their fork. You can tell a lot about a person by how much they put on their fork.
And you're still listening and watching Catholic Underground.
Somehow. We might be moving into delirium at some point. But anyway, so that's right, hummus they put on their pita. So I guess what we'll do now, just like we did last night, are there any questions that you have for us, our viewing public, that are there in the chat window? It's okay. We don't mind dead air. This is IPTV. It's where media is going.
That's right. We're not burning up any money. We have no sponsors, so.
Father Ryan wants to know if there were lots of Macs in the press room. There were a good number. In fact, the two college kids that were covering for their college TV station pulled out this beautiful new little MacBook Pro, and I said, "Oh, nice to see the Macs are being equally represented." And she said, "It's new," as she went, "How do I turn it on?"
Yeah.
Yeah, glossy screen and everything. But she seemed to be using it well, and there were a number of Macs. It was interesting. I don't know. There are probably more PCs though. It's still a standard,
I think so.
But there were a lot. One of our writer or chatters wants to know if there was a bobblehead. I haven't seen a Pope Benedict bobblehead. I know there was a Metro ad.
The Metro commercial.
That's
In
right.
fact, I was trying to tell someone about the Holy Father's actual address, talking about his upcoming visit when I was doing my ministry at a hospital. And it was really funny because they thought I was talking about the bobblehead video, and they said, "Oh, well, that got pulled off." And I said, No,
he's going to be talking.
he's going to be talking.
He's a real person. Yeah. So.
And I want to go ahead and make a comment and note that everything on this trip so far has been running on a Mac, and you see the problems we've been having.
It's not true.
Speaking of, Father Chris, how's Big Mac doing?
Big Mac is up and running. Actually, we're casting to you this evening on the Big Mac, which is a
Newly
G5.
formatted.
Yeah, newly reformatted. Don't know where all my other data is, but it's webcasting. See, we spare no expensive data for you, our fearless watchers.
We got
and
tired of
listeners.
waiting for the 6 days it was going to take to fix permissions.
Yeah, we had some disk permission errors, and most of you don't even care what that is. But suffice to say, almost all of it, we're halfway into the trip, and almost all of our media seems to be working. So,
Right.
so maybe by Thursday when we're headed home, we'll have figured out how it all's supposed to go. So who knows? I wonder what this could mean for the future of Catholic Underground in terms of following church events.
I don't know. I'm thinking about Sirius satellite radio, actually.
What about Sirius Satellite Radio?
It's something actually I figured out today. I was walking back from class, after just talking to you on the phone and finding out that you were trying to get press passes still.
Yeah.
And I see this blue Ford Explorer, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I look closer, and it says Sirius Satellite Radio, and I was like, Sirius Satellite, like, is that someone that just happens to work for them, or like they broadcast it?
Right.
And I came to find out they're doing live, like 24-hour coverage that's either repeating or what
Yeah.
have you.
Yeah, they've got a couple
along
of
with
channels.
the Archdiocese of New York.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the Archdiocese of New York. Apparently, Sirius wanted this coverage too, and so they got into
Yeah.
disagreement with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Sirius actually created a special channel just for this papal visit
That's right.
that they were going to do this broadcasting on, and so that's part of that in addition to the normal
That's right.
Catholic
One of our
channels.
chatters is saying they have 3 channels on Sirius. One of them actually is old speeches of the Holy Father. One is their current coverage of their kind of wall-to-wall coverage. And I'm not sure what the other one is. I don't know if one of our chatters might know what it is, but I don't know what the third one is. It might just be EWTN's coverage.
Could be.
It's quite possible.
Yeah, because I know EWTN did team up with them to do some.
That's right. EWTN also, of course, EWTN of course has their they have a channel on Sirius, but they also teamed up with XM. So again, a lot of these new media things are showing up, and so I do wonder what could become of Catholic Underground. Of course, we really are the new kid on the block. We're not we're pretty much cable access at this point, if you can call it that. Our podcast may sound professional sometimes. But you can see that we really are upstarts. So
Yeah.
but it really was. I have to say one of the more amazing moments of Zen today was being in that elevator with the Rome bureau chief for
Oh, yeah.
Catholic News Service saying, "Yep, that's where it's going," and that was all he said, and out he went, and he was
But
gone.
that's all he needed to say.
That's all he needed to say, and I was like, "Golly, if this is where it's going, then we better get on board because we've got a long way to go."
Because he could have, essentially just looked down upon us and, in snobbishness or anything like that, or just said, "Oh,"
Yeah,
rolled his
could blow
eyes.
us
But he
off,
didn't. He was very, very interested, it seemed, in what we were doing, and said, "You're the way of the future."
Yeah, which is weird. Very weird to think. One of our chatters here says that a replay of the day's events is the 3rd channel, so it's kind of a daily recap, which is what we were hoping to provide for you on CUTV. Unfortunately, we don't have a big enough staff. Ideally, we would have 3 or 4 people, and we could split them up and then say, "Here, go grab that, go get this coverage, and then come back and we'll edit it together." But with 3 people, it can be very difficult. Now, I know there are a couple of media outlets that are doing that, but they're a well-oiled machine.
Well, send your money, we can pay people.
That's right.
We can
That's
buy
right.
people off.
That's right. We would like a Catholic Underground endowment, I think. Perhaps.
Right.
Could we
We
become?
need to staff the Washington Bureau.
We should staff the Washington Bureau. And you probably could use some granola
Hire
bars in
some
your
poor
fridge.
seminarians down the hall.
That's right. We could hire some.
Corey needs his box of granola bars a month.
That's right, and his trailer.
With my name on the chair.
That's right. I'll be in my trailer with my name on the chair. Oh my
No,
goodness.
but seriously, we do thank again all of you who out there who have been benefactors for this trip,
Yep.
who continue to donate and continue to support us through your prayer and any of the other ways that you support Catholic Underground by mentioning it to others and by continuing to watch the work that we do. We thank you for all of that.
Yeah, and we ask you to keep looking on the website, CatholicUnderground.com/CUTV, for all of the updates, and hopefully we can bring you some of the things that we're doing. Again, whenever we get a Wi-Fi signal, we do attempt to do something. And whenever we're out and about, we're going to be taking some video tomorrow. Again, we've been kind of getting our bearings these past few days, and we appreciate your patience with us as we do so. But of course, that's part of the fun of it. I think that's part of the fun of it. We're just amazed that the set came out so well. Yes, indeed. I hear that St. Michael misses me. Now I'm hoping that's not St. Michael the Archangel, because, well, St. Michael the Archangel had better be fighting for us this whole trip. I think we need him with all of our technological difficulties. But I'm the chaplain at St. Michael's High School there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I miss you all too. But don't you worry, St. Michael's. I'm going to be back next week. So, I tell you, we certainly are finding ourselves, I guess, at the end of another broadcast.
Looks like it.
Again, check the website, CatholicUnderground.com/CUTV. And as always, you can check in on our website. You can send us an email, backchat@CatholicUnderground.com. Any number of ways to get in touch with us. We have many, many ones. And of course, if you're on the chat window, you see us live and in charge here on the chat window, then please do. Father Ryan is giving us the okay that we can actually go off the air. So we're going to do that now. For Corey Campo, our bureau chief, and managing editor here in Washington, D.C. for Joshua LeBlanc. For Nick Sheldon, our producer, I'm Father Chris Decker. You've been watching CUTV's live coverage of Pope Benedict in America. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.